Hey everyone, Jonathan here with Vancouver Fit Body Bootcamp and JonathanLearnerFitness.com. I have with me today, I want to introduce you to Ashley, and she is a registered holistic nutritionist with In Your Skin Holistic Nutrition, and she's going to be able to share with you today some tips on healthy weight loss. And one of the things that she specializes in terms of her nutrition is women's health. So everything from pre-postnatal to anything skin related, and then female things in general, but she'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that before she starts. So I'll grab the camera from her, and then she'll take over. Alright. So Ashley, just before you get started, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of what you specialize in and what you do?
You bet. So what I do is I specialize in women's health, so hormone balancing, getting ready for pregnancy, during pregnancy, after pregnancy. And a big area of mine is specialty in skin care from the inside out. So I have a long history of eczema, and I have some tips and tricks on how to create balance in the body and hopefully clear up those skin problems. So eczema, acne, psoriasis, all of those areas are some things that I'm super passionate about and have a lot of experience with.
Cool. So what exactly are we going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 weight loss tips.
Awesome. So what are we starting off with?
Okay, so top 5. Number 1, I'm going to write it down for your visual. The first one is sugar. So basically with sugar, not only does it create weight gain, but it also increases inflammation in the body. So what happens when you have too much sugar in your bloodstream is that your pancreas has to secrete insulin to kind of scoop up all that extra sugar that's in your bloodstream, and it actually stores. So if there's too much in your bloodstream, the body will store it as fat. So though that's obviously not something that you want, and the kind of sugar I'm talking about would be like table sugar, refined sugar, brown sugar, and those types of things. It's in a lot of baking products and stuff like that. So sugar is the first one. The second one is aspartame. So aspartame, or artificial sweeteners generally, that would be something like Splenda or NutraSweet or Equal. They have no calories, but they still have that sweet taste. And many people might think that's actually a good thing because no calories, no weight gain. But what actually ends up happening in the body is the artificial sweeteners trick your body because of the sweet taste, but there's no calories to go along with it. So your body's actually wondering where the calories are going to be coming from. So your body is constantly hungry because of the sweet taste, but the lack of calories associated with it. And the second thing about aspartame is that it can also mimic immune disorders. So people might think that they have a serious health condition, but in actuality, the aspartame can create those symptoms. So for example, one of them is problems with your vision. So you can go get testing done because you have vision problems. You might be getting dark spots. And some people have actually noticed that when they take aspartame out of their diet, those symptoms go away. So it's basically really hard on your nervous system generally, and your neural health is impacted by aspartame and artificial sweeteners.
Can you give some examples of what aspartame is in, just to give people an idea of how much it is potentially in their diet?
Definitely. So gum, for instance, is a big one. Anything that says something like low calorie, no fat, things like that. So yogurt is another one that really you have to read those labels and make sure that there is no artificial sweetener in there. So those are the big kind of 2, and of course diet pop, diet soda, diet products have a lot of that kind of artificial sweetener and filler stuff in there. So the third tip for weight loss is to eliminate high fructose corn syrup from your diet. So, high fructose corn syrup, I'll write this down, is found in
everything.
Everything, yeah. Most refined food products, processed food products, sodas is another big one. So make sure, again, you're reading your labels. It can be disguised as other things, so you have to be really careful. There's a lot of information on the internet about other names that it can go under, but it's very sneaky. So with high fructose corn syrup, it kind of acts in a similar way in the body, but they did research on rats actually, and they did a comparison between feeding the rats sugar and high fructose corn syrup, and the rats that were on high fructose corn syrup actually ended up gaining more weight than the rats that were on real sugar. So that's kind of a sign that we should probably not be eating it ourselves. The other thing too is high fructose corn syrup is pretty much all of it is genetically modified, and we want to be staying away from genetically modified foods because many different reasons. One of which would be we don't really know how yet it's going to be reacting in the body, and there have been a lot of allergies and allergic reactions to those types of foods. The fourth thing to consider when you are looking to lose weight is reading your labels and checking for monosodium glutamate, which is also known as MSG. And MSG is in a lot of processed food products, as well as it can be in Chinese food and Vietnamese food, and they use it to enhance the flavors. So MSG is also known to result in weight gain, and kind of the most scary thing about MSG is that it's actually a neurotoxin or excitotoxin, which means that the MSG, when it goes in your body, it overstimulates your nerve cells and then damages or destroys them. So your nervous system is so important for the running of your body, and especially with fitness and your limbs and muscles and the electricity of your body working properly. So if that's damaged, that can definitely result in the lacking in an ability to work out. Those are some of the kinds of things that could happen if you have too much MSG in your body. So the fifth item would be low fat and low calorie food items. So these could be something like non-fat yogurt or low-fat dairy products, skim milk, things like that, or low-calorie food items. So with your low calorie and low fat, they're often, if not always, removing the fat. And fat doesn't necessarily make you fat. If it's a good quality fat, fats are really important in your diet. And if you're removing the fat, you need to fill the food with something else to satiate you. So if, for example, if you are drinking skim milk or on low-fat or non-fat yogurt, they're taking the fat out, and with the fat goes the fat-soluble vitamins. So then what they have to do is fill your yogurt with something that will make it taste good, because fat equals flavor. So usually what ends up going in would be sugar, which we outlined here, or also aspartame and artificial sweeteners. So those are very, very common things that are in yogurts. So then what they have to do is add synthetic vitamins back in, because they've removed the naturally occurring ones by removing the fat. So yeah, it's very weird and very interesting. But also the thing about low fat and low calorie food items is that your body is constantly not satisfied. So you eat something like a low-fat yogurt, and you may be full for a little while, but it's mostly the sugar kind of and the protein that's carrying you. You don't get that deep kind of satiation of the fat to get you through the morning, and you don't have to be snacking all the time. So fat equals flavor and fullness. So instead of having to snack all morning because you keep eating things that are full of sugar and not satiating you and not having enough fat. You could just have like a really good quality full fat yogurt, and that could keep you full for the morning.
And just so people don't get confused, other types of fat, we're not talking about having a ton of fatty meat or deep fried foods for fat, those kind of options, right?
Good point. Yeah, so it's the quality of the fat that's really, really important. So for fats, you want to stick with your coconut oil, olive oil, flax oil, fish oil, all of those types of those fats that are really, really important in keeping your cell membranes strong and keeping your appetite kind of under control. Yeah, good point.